What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Salami Squad around the world? The meat pack is in the building. Is your boy Mike Rogers, got Mike Richman in the cut. Say what's up to him.
What's up, my boy? We are living, we are live.
We are living, we are live. Beautiful Friday evening, 3/19/2021. We're just powering through March here. Got a lot of stuff going on in the sports world. NFL free agency, baby. Let me tell you, some shit is moving. It is moving fast. Players signing left and right. We just want to get into that today a little bit, break down some of the stuff that's been going on these past couple of days. A lot of teams making moves, a lot of guys on the move. A lot of questions still to be answered. And obviously, we got the draft coming up, but this offseason is a chugging along. We're going to jump right in with the Dolphins here. Dolphins making a couple moves. Big one, I think yesterday was actually them signing Will Fuller the fifth.
Right? I think so, dude.
Will Fullers, bro.
That's actually crazy. Like, getting that down to the fifth is insane.
Yeah, obviously, Will Fuller, they picked up Jacoby Brissett too, which I think will be good for them because there's a lot of questions. I think for some reason at the QB position, which I think Tua is at least going to be the guy next year.
Oh, for sure.
I don't think the Dolphins need to do anything drastic, but picking up Will Fuller is going to be a big piece to kind of seeing fully what Tua could have next year. What did I say? Did I say something funny?
No, Foley, Will Fuller. But yeah, no, quick little side piece with Will Fuller. He is still on suspension. He'll have one game left on his suspension over there in Miami. So after that one game, he's free reign. So just missing that week one, then he's in there. So that's hype. That's a huge pickup for the Dolphins, dude.
Definitely.
I mean, what they got? They got Denzel Mims is a Jet. They got Devontae Parker out there, who I really like. But besides that, I mean, they just really needed a weapon. And Will Fuller's a known gonna run by you, gonna score a touchdown in your face type of guy. So that's hype. I'm very curious about this Jacoby Brissett signing. I don't know if he's just kind of filling that role that Fitz is filling, because we know he is on his way out of there as well. But I don't know, man. Like, how's Tua not the guy for them right now?
Yeah, this is just a weird. It's the same conversation the Jets can have, and the same conversation with the Eagles. It's kind of like, do they necessarily need a quarterback? No, but just the power that's coming out of this draft class, for the chance to them, those sort of teams not be in this position next year, to take one of these quarterbacks, you're sitting at a spot where there's going to be a guy available. So, whether or not you think you might already have the guy or not. I mean, Tua did enough, I think, to impress last year. He showed some signs where I think he could do something. Obviously, that Dolphins defense is already very legit. But, bringing in a guy like Will Fuller, who's a playmaker, I think is really gonna help out a lot. I think now in the draft, they're going to look to potentially, depending on what the Jets do, they're going to probably pick up one of these tackles. With the third overall pick, probably go Penei Sewell or Rashawn Slater, because then at the end of the day, I think with the moves that the Jets have made, which we'll talk about in a second, getting an offensive lineman, picking up a wide receiver and whatnot, you're not really going to have too many more excuses left for the quarterback at that. And, with Jacoby Brissett, I think for the most part, bring in a guy that's just going to fit really well in that QB room. Jacoby Brissett's been around the block. I know he's been kind of a career backup, but someone good for Tua to kind of learn under. Maybe Brissett does get a start or two here or there. At least we'll probably see some playing time. I think at the end of the day, just a guy on the sideline for Tua, whatnot. And Dolphins are clearly showing that they want to build around Tua, I guess. But great pickup for them. Do want to talk about the Jets though for a second. Jets have been making some news, I think, right behind the Patriots. Jets are kind of winning this free agency right now. Obviously, got a big name with Corey Davis, who played for the Titans last year, who kind of had a slow start to his career, showed us what he was really capable of last year. Didn't have crazy numbers or anything, but solid wide receiver. Can definitely, I think, be a great number two. I think Denzel Mims is the future one for that team. But, they went out too, and they got Carl Lawson from the Bengals, who another guy, real young, 25, 26, but the first couple of years kind of struggled a little bit. And then last year kind of had his breakout season. I think that was a big pickup for the Jets. But, still obviously questions at that QB position. I think the moves they make in this offseason, the moves they have already made, and depending on where they look in the draft, if they want to go with one of those tackles, really put the pressure on Sam Darnold to be like, hey, we got to see what you got this year, or just go QB and kind of hit the reset button. But Jets are kind of in that same boat. Got themselves a nice receiver. I know there's talk of them going picking up a Juju or a Kenny Galladay. But speaking of some Juju Smith-Schuster, re-signing that deal with Philly, or not Philly, fucking Pittsburgh
Steelers,
on that 1 year, which we've seen a couple guys do in this free agency, just kind of do that 1 year, take a little bit of a hit just because with the cap and stuff's going on, essentially just putting themselves in position to get that bag next year.
For sure.
Guys like Juju and stuff just kind of betting on themselves really at that point.
And also like looking at it from the organizational standpoint, I mean, how are they going to sign all these guys with all this guaranteed money? I mean, we saw the Patriots go ahead and do it, but a lot of teams just aren't in the position where they can do that, especially with just not knowing what's going to happen to this cap. So, I mean, a lot of these 1 year deals, I think, are a product of that, but I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing. You're right. It gives the players another chance. They're like, I got another year. I got to really prove myself and, show I'm worth the money. So I like it.
Yeah. And I mean, I like Juju going back to the Steelers. I guess, I'm not a fan of maybe the off the field, or I guess quote unquote
on the field. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not the biggest fan of all that at the end of the day, but dude's done a great job building up his personal brand. I think in this day and age, the players care more about the personal brand than the actual job itself. But I mean, you got to make that money. So at the end of the day, you can't necessarily be mad at that, especially people that aren't quarterbacks that don't see quarterback type of money. NFL careers can be short, at other positions. So you got to go get that bag. But we're seeing a lot of these wide receivers kind of falling off the board. They're very heating up. I've seen in the last hour, Kenny Galladay is probably going to be a New York Giant, which that's kind of a bucket splash for the Giants. I honestly think so. I mean, with the Giants, we talk about with the Dolphins and the Jets, they're kind of in that same little sort of boat with Daniel Jones, which I don't want to hate on Daniel Jones. I think he is a very solid player.
Definitely needs to get better this offseason.
I'm not sure yet. We've seen, he's just kind of those guys where we've seen some really good flashes, but the other 60%, it's been kind of, but I think they're going to go with him being the guy. Obviously they get Saquon back next year. I think for the most part with that shithole of a division, the NFC East, they play decent football.
I agree. And let's get into some other signings they got here. So this free agency, they signed the boy Mike Neck Glennon over there, New York Giant himself. They got John Ross III and Kyle Rudolph. I mean, all three of those are really good signings. I mean, Mike Glennon proved that when Daniel Dimes is having a bad time, he's going to be able to go in there and try to finish out the game for you. I mean, down there in Jacksonville last season, he did not prove a starting position. I don't think so. But he did prove like he has ability. And like if you need him in the moment, he can be there for you. So I like the Mike Glennon signing. And I like them just bringing in another quarterback to put that pressure on Daniel Jones. Like, hey, you have to be better. And like the problem with Daniel Jones, I've been saying all along, is just the turnovers. Interceptions and fumbles are killer on that guy. Like he just cannot hold on to the rock. So, But signing John Ross III, I mean, that's incredible. Kyle Rudolph paired up with Evan Ingram, who's got iffy hands, but is an incredible talent. Just a lot of drops, but he's that dude.
Yeah, so he's an athlete, and I think
the Giants got a good little squad here.
Yeah, they especially that boy John Ross, who's a guy who has not really been able to hit his potential being there with Cincinnati. Fastest 40-yard dash time in combine history, and as obviously a burner on the field, but as far as possession and route running, I think still has a lot to improve. But this is the Giants essentially. Like I said with the Jets and the Dolphins, like here's your squad, Danny Dimes. Like, go out there, like we got to prove this year that like, hey, this guy can play football and be a consistent quarterback, or they're probably going to look to go elsewhere. But especially if they bring in Kenny Galladay, I already love the defense they got going on. Blake Martinez.
Giants have a great defense.
They got a solid little squad there on the D. So obviously bulk up that the offensive weapons. Probably look to go offensive line in the draft.
They have to at this point. I mean, what else are they missing?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, so that's just going to be nut up or shut up, for Danny Dimes in this upcoming season. So I really do like their free agency moves. I want to get into though here who I honestly think has won free agency. Day one spent themselves a check, and that's the New England Patriots, man. We're talking Nelson Aguilar. We're talking Hunter Henry. What else they got there? Did they bring Kyle Van Noy back?
They re-signed Kyle Van Noy, which is huge because I don't know why they got rid of him in the first place. I mean, he had look at that year he had down there in Miami. I mean, he was the heart. We were talking about all season how good that defense was. Kyle Van Noy's a middle linebacker. I mean, we're talking about the dude that runs that shit.
Talk about veteran guy, dude. Got a couple chips. Knows that Patriot system.
No, that's an incredible signing.
Yeah, no, the Patriots hit home runs, man. Honestly, if you look at all those contracts they signed, none of them are bad. I've seen a lot of people say, this is very un-Belichick-like and Patriots, which 100% is true. I think, though, in a way, this is – especially at the wide receiver, and then bringing in Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry.
They've classically always tried to have two good tight ends. I mean, Gronk and won't say his name there, but I mean they've always tried to have two solid weapons. And exactly to the point you were saying a couple seconds ago, it's like it's on the quarterback now. Can you make plays? We got you your weapons. We got you what you need.
I think
Cam Newton be that guy?
I think he honestly can.
I do too.
He just proved to him that, like, hey, we want you here.
Yeah.
We signed you for a year, and I still do believe that the Pats go ahead and get a rookie or something too to sit behind just in case. But I do think Cam is able to get it done. But signing, because Bill Belichick has defense covered. Depending on what they want to do is Stephon Gilmore, But I think in a way, this is Bill Belichick proving, signing all these weapons, that, hey, I'm not very good at drafting offensive weapons.
We're talking guaranteed money too. We're not talking the Patriots gave out the most guaranteed money so far.
But see, none of the contracts they signed are bad at all. They all make sense. We're talking 3 years. I think the highest one they signed was like $60 million. I don't remember who, but to get Hunter Henry on and Jonnu Smith on these 3-year, $40 million deals. I mean, that's kind of a bucket. That's very valuable. Their system fits. Bill Belichick, they're going to know how to work that. I think that's really awesome that, like I said, I don't think we've ever seen something like this before in a Patriots offseason where they just went dummy like this. They've always been –
they haven't had to.
One or two signings, and then the rest of the time they just build up through the draft on defense. I mean, they've never really been able to draft wide receivers and whatnot. So I think this is Bill saying, hey, we're going to make these signings, put Cam Newton in the best position possible. This is a playoff team next year, dude. Besides the Bills and that NFC, I mean, I kind of like them going ahead better than the Dolphins. In all honesty, I really just, because if you would have told me last year, I mean, the Patriots lose the greatest quarterback of all time and are just 2 games below 500. That's still not bad at all. Without obviously Cam Newton have a terrible year.
I want to see Cam be great.
I want to see Cam be great, man. I love me some Cam Newton, but big shout out to Billy Belichick and the crew, bro, for just making some signings.
Y'all thought I was done?
Y'all thought I was done out here? He's going for that long play. I think this is Bill Belichick, too, realizing, he's kind of on the final stretch of where he's at, too. I heard someone say that, but he's he's in his 60s, man. He, probably only has limited time left. So he's like, yo, we're going to make these signings. I don't give a fuck when I'm gone, what happens to the cap space and whatnot. Y'all can figure that out. But I'm trying to get me 7 too. So, they went ahead and made some signings. Definitely excited for that. Speaking of the Bills, though, move on to the Bills here. We got a bunch of teams, dude. I'm just
there's so much a lot going on,
bro. Bills going ahead and picking up the boy Emmanuel Sanders, just another weapon, veteran
Absolute
guy.
Bucket, dude. Veteran.
Yeah, veteran, just someone to secure a little safety net for that boy Josh Allen. But Josh Allen might have some quarterback room. They went ahead and picked up Mitch Trubisky. Which obviously, I don't think there's going to be QB competition there at all. Maybe. I mean, Josh
talking about?
Bring it on. But,
what?
My thing with Mitch Trubisky is, I think it's just time everyone – I think for the most part everyone has that. Just obviously it didn't work out with Chicago. I think, he had about maybe a year's worth of total combined where he looked like, he's an incompetent quarterback. But for the most part, man, just the arm wasn't there. The accuracy wasn't there. Couldn't really make the plays with his feet. Because there were some years, man, the defense was incredible. And for the most part, they had some offensive weapons. The Bears really did give him some talent. But, the Bears have been struggling for the better part of 30 years at that quarterback position, just not being able to figure out. But, Mitch Trubisky being on the Bills, I mean, I think, and I read a tweet, I think from the Bills, someone in the Bills organization saying, this is only going to be for a year. Probably just come have him sit, watch some games, and then, hopefully, Mitch Trubisky's eyes be able to land a start and get next year. But I don't know, brother. I don't
have to have a great preseason.
Yeah, he's going to have to prove something. I don't know. Maybe Josh Allen invites a competition or whatnot. I think he blows him out the water.
What are we talking about right now, dude?
Yeah, it's got to be something. They signed him for a reason.
I know. I just can't figure out what that reason is, bro. It makes this is the one where I'm like, what are they doing?
Well, I know. I think it's Billy Bean. No, that's fucking Moneyball. What's the manager? The general manager of the Bills did make a statement. The reason they did sign him was, besides the arm strength, does have a lot of qualities that Josh Allen does possess. I don't think he's as good with the legs on that, but
whatever. Hey, dude, they can spend their money wherever they want. I'm doing that sim in Madden. I am not signing Mitch Trubisky to my team. We got Josh Allen coming off an arguably MVP season, only getting better, signs of just true promise. They got to be so hype, and then they bring in that guy. I don't know. Maybe it is good for the QB room. Maybe it is good for the locker room. But just me, my personal opinion, I just feel like that is not a good move at all.
Well, I don't think it's necessarily a bad move. It's just a move I don't think was needed. But at the end of the day, you need a quarterback depth chart. And if Mitch Trubisky was there, you sign him for the low.
Maybe it sparks something in Josh Allen where he feels like he has to compete. You're right. Maybe he'll just start playing even better than he was. But it's just like.
Well, there's always the safety net too of like injury, God forbid. But who knows at the end of the day. But
Mr. Trubisky been playing injured his whole career, bro.
like Tommy John or something. But Josh Allen being a big dude likes to bulldoze, get them rushing tutties. Never know what But pray nothing like that happens. But yeah, definitely a weird signing. But getting Emmanuel Sanders, another weapon for the boy, and ours obviously having solid. Obviously having Stephon
Diggs. Yeah, that's a great 1-2 punch. Emmanuel Sanders is obviously going to be out there. He's going to catch some tutties for him. But just having that veteran knowledge with Stephon Diggs and who the fuck else they got out there? I can't even think. They got Cole Beasley out there, dog. Just that 1-2-3 is filth, dude.
Yeah, you the best teams in the league got the 5'10" slot receiver, which, they got that. And they're going to be all right. I like the running back tandem they have. Obviously, I think they re-signed one of their offensive line too, Daryl something.
Those boys were working. Their line was really good last year. That's really part of the reason we saw such success in Singletary and Moss. Got to give the line their credit there.
Yeah, speaking of the Bears, though, Mitch Trubisky, the Bears have been making a little bit of noise. Went ahead, made a splash.
Yeah, they made some big noise.
Bringing in the red rifle, Randy Alton, which I don't know, bro.
I think in the end, like at the end of the day situation, I think it does work out for him. But the Bears were in talks for getting Russ. Like they were going to give up like 3 first rounds, a couple starters, a couple seconds. Like, let's get ourselves a dude. And then they get the red rifle, bro.
Yeah, listen. At the end of the day, I like Dandy Alton, bro. Like, he's a solid quarterback. Like, I do like him. You know what I mean? Like,
no, he's not.
He's all right, bro. He's like,
God.
He's a B at max B plus quarterback.
I'll take that.
He's not the guy, but he's solid. It's Andy Dalton. He had some great years.
Is he better than Mitch Trubisky? I say
100%.
Yes. I say 100%. Yes. Yeah.
I think he's better than Nick Foles.
Like at 100%. This point, yeah, based off of last career, last season,
playoff Nick Foles is the greatest quarterback to ever live, but regularly,
I don't know. That's just a crazy play from the Bears, bro. I really thought they were going to end up drafting somebody. I hope it works out for them.
They still might.
True. Another play they made, they gave that boy Allen Robinson, who we almost guaranteed was going to go somewhere. They gave that boy the franchise tag, very deserving. So shout out A-Rob there. Hopefully he's catching some balls from Andy Dalton, dude.
Right, a rifle, dude's going to throw him right in the breadbasket for you. Listen.
Thank God Allen Robinson can jump, bro.
Yeah. I mean, hey, at the end of the day, the Bears might win some football games. I mean, there's a lot going on in that NFC.
Yeah, they might.
You know, obviously the Packers are still clear-cut favorites to win that division, but I mean, the Lions still have a lot of noise to make. We'll get into the Vikings here, who have been making a little noise, but I mean, at the end of the day, Mitch Trubisky clearly wasn't your answer. I don't think Nick Foles is a starting quarterback for 16 games. I mean, at the end of the day, you realize, hey, we're not going to get Russell Westbrook, so like we need to go ahead and get some sort of. What are you laughing at, bro?
Russell Westbrook, but it's fine.
Russell Wilson,
but that's fine. No, you're right. They got to get someone in there, and I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I will make fun of him every time he makes a mistake, but that's okay.
For sure. And I mean, there's some spark. He played solid last year for the Cowboys for the mess that was going on.
Yeah, he was better than Ben DiNucci. You're right.
Yeah, I mean. Yeah, I just want to show Andy Dalton some love, man. He went through hell and a Cincinnati team he carried that team for many years. I feel like is underappreciated. He's not fucking Patty Mahomes, but he's a solid quarterback. But yeah, the Bears, shoot, they're not going to be anything to watch. But I don't know. But bring back Allen Robinson, obviously huge and whatnot. Kind of another thing. Have him on the tag for a year, and then I still think they'd be able to tag him next year. Because you can do. Is
there any? I was going to just ask.
In a row.
Okay. Yeah.
So depending on what happens there, he might just force a trade out or whatnot. Which at this point, I really couldn't blame him. But they don't have any say over the tag. If the franchise tags you, then you got to bite that bullet. But obviously, probably
that dude woke up to a text like, fuck.
Right? Russell Wilson, yeah, hell yeah, I don't mind getting tagged. Let me stay. And then it's like, boom, Andy Dalton. It's like,
Yikes, I was about to hit the free agency hard as fuck. Like, oh my God. He was like my number one guy besides Kenny Golladay to just get signed. Like, that's just crazy. I did not see either of those moves coming from the Bears. Shout out. I hope it works for him, but splashing.
Yeah, bro. Big time plays. Speaking of the Vikings, though, they went ahead and got themselves Patty Pete there, veteran corner. And my thing is, like, listen, man, to me, the Vikings are low-key just kind of a mess. But I want to say that lightly as far as, like, on paper, their roster, I think they have a really good team. I really do.
Are you kidding me, dude?
They also have a great tandem at the wide receiver. Justin Jefferson, amazing rookie year. Dalvin Cook,
Calvin Cook, bro. You want to talk about a guaranteed anytime touchdown scorer?
Yeah, bro. And obviously, big questions last year were just some things they needed to have on defense. And I think they were a lot young on defense. Obviously, they lost Yannick Ngakoue last year, but bringing in a vet guy like Pat Pete to kind of anchor that secondary a little bit. I think for the most part their offense isn't going to be a problem this year. I do think they need to work on the offensive line a little bit, but I think every team does in a way. But anchor that defense a little bit. So because I love Pat Pete, dude. Pat Pete to me is a Hall of Famer. Been in this game.
Oh, no doubt.
Just been a solid quarterback. Who I think he's got the recognition he deserves, but playing in Arizona for so long, just being in a smaller market, people don't really know how fucking good Pat Peterson is, man. Dominant in college, dominant in Arizona, and has been at this shit for a long time. So that's a big pickup for the Vikings. I know they have I think they pick around 10, 11, 2. Not sure what kind of move they'll make there.
It's got to be a defensive pick. I mean, their offense is not the problem. I mean, Kirk Cousins is a little hot or cold, depending upon the day. But, I mean, they got nothing.
I think we got about 1 year left of the Kirk Cousins.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens there. But, they did trade Kyle Rudolph, so they're going to need someone to fill in that tight end spot as well. So,
yeah, I mean, like, I do like me some Kyle Rudolph, but the Irv Smith, I think, he's that guy, bro. Irv Smith's beast tight end. They got Randy Moss's kid there, too, I think as tight end 2 or 3. But, it's a nice little pickup for the Vikings. What are some of these other moves, though, you've seen, dude, that you like? I think the biggest one we've seen is the Chiefs. We did see, I think it was yesterday, they went ahead and got Kyle Long, which
he's an incredible player, yeah.
For them. Yeah, something like that, steroids. But, good guy. But the huge, we're talking splash plays getting this man Joe Tooney for like 4 years, $80 million. Dude's one of the best offensive linemen in football. I
Yeah.
think that, it really stings for the Patriots. The Patriots weren't able to bring him back, but this dude's been all pro his whole career. And to add a guy like that to a team that's been back-to-back to the Super Bowl, I mean, I didn't even think they had that much money in cap to, work with. But we've heard some stuff, Patty Mahomes kind of restructuring his deal to save up.
As he should.
As he should have. I'm not taking anything away from Patty Mahomes. Do that.
Are you chasing Super Bowls or are you chasing money? That's what it comes down to.
I mean, at the end of the day, we kind of talked about it last week. It's like, do you want to chase that? I'm not mad at chasing that bag.
No, I'm not either.
You want,
just saying.
I want that jewelry at the end of the day. I want a legacy. I want to be.
It's hard to come by both for sure.
It is, and at the end you're playing football, so it just takes one hit or something, and your career's done. So I really can't blame some of these players.
Fuck around, and die out there, bro. You never know. Like
really
it could be crazy.
Obviously the Kyle Long pickup was big for them. I think he'll be a nice piece, veteran guy who's been there, done that. But to get Joe Thuney, who I think was probably the most sought after free agent as a whole in this free agency. I mean, that dude's a fucking monster. 4 years, $80 million. That's a lot, but that dude is worth it. Just adding that guy to, which I already think is a pretty competent offensive line, but for real, to add an all-pro offensive lineman to that already just track field of an offense as a whole, I think is just going to be absolutely dangerous. But I don't know. Give me some other moves here, man. What'd you like that you saw?
So let's move over to the Texans right now. So obviously we got Deshaun Watson controversy, whether he will be there or not. We still do not know. Might see that boy in court. More to follow on that.
Controversy going on.
The Texans went ahead. They signed Tyrod Taylor and Mark Ingram. So that's two big pickups for him. For me, I like Tyrod Taylor in this position. I think this is one of the only teams he could go to where he's going to have a shot to prove himself. I mean, we've just seen Tyrod Taylor just a list of unfortunate events over the last 5 years of him just not really getting the time he needs, at that starting position. Right. So most likely he's probably going to get it here in the Texans. So hype for him. The running back, Mark Ingram, former Heisman winner. Again, just Mark Ingram kind of fell off for me these past 2 years, man. I mean, he had a couple seasons when they first got Lamar over there on the Ravens where he was balling the fuck out. Him and Lamar were competing for rushing yards. And, Mark Ingram's kind of taking that second seat to Gus Edwards over there in Baltimore. So hopefully he can step back up to the Texans here. I don't even know who else they got for running backs. I have no idea.
David Johnson, Duke Johnson, so there's a little bit of a three-headed, kind of thing going on there at the running back position. But, I do think the Tyrod Taylor pickup is going to be big. I think bigger than people realize. Obviously, there's some stuff going on with Deshaun Watson besides the trade stuff, so we don't know what happens there. But he has said that if they do not end up trading him, he is going to sit out. And so, I mean, if that is the case, Tyrod Taylor will be on the field. And, Tyrod Taylor is another guy who I think like Jacoby Brissett, where I like what they bring to the table as far as being a quarterback, have just never really gotten the shot like that. Tyrod Taylor, obviously, last year was very misfortunate, but kind of his whole career, it's been he'll start half a year and then something will kind of happen, and then whoever like Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen, the next guy steps up, and they don't ever really look back from that. Which I don't really think in most of those cases is Tyrod Taylor's fault. It's just kind of like Tyrod Taylor last year.
That's not his fault. Yeah.
Justin Herbert comes in and lights it up. So it's like, well, we're just going to go ahead and go with this guy. So I do like that for the Texans. I hope he does get a shot to shine. This whole Deshaun Watson saga has been kind of crazy to follow.
Yeah.
I don't know if he does end up going anywhere, but I can't imagine seeing Deshaun Watson sit for 16 games.
That dude honestly might be suspended, might not even have the opportunity to play. We don't know at this point.
Might be some stuff going on. Deshaun Watson been some stuff going on for sure. But
yeah, I mean, do a Google search on that, peep it out. Let's keep it moving. Talking about the Chargers, they shipped off that boy Hunter Henry, had to fill that void. They got Jared Cook, veteran tight end from the Saints, bro. I like me some Jared Cook. I mean, he's just perfect for that quick Drew Brees type of play, dude. Quick little slant, he'll get you some yards. I like Jared Cook.
Yeah, I like Jared Cook, just another little weapon guy. I think in this draft, they're going to try to make a splash to go ahead and get themselves a Waddle or a Devontae Smith.
Yeah.
One of those guys. I think they need that speed guy out in the receiver side of things. Obviously having Mike Williams and what's his name there? Keenan Allen, being big possession guys. They do need some work on their offensive line, though, too, as well. I can't see.
Well, I think Jared Cook helps with that. I mean, he's obviously not an interior lineman, but he's an incredible blocker, big body. So that's a big pickup for them.
Big body.
Moving on, Lions signed that boy Jamal Williams, running back from the Packers. I do think that's a big pickup, too. He had a pretty good season over there in the Packers. They decided to stick with their other boy over there. So, I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, do the Lions get good this season with, Jared Goff coming in as well as our boy here at running back? I just don't know if they're going to be good. Like, I want them to prove it to me. Obviously, they got a new head coach, new regime coming in, whole new system. So,
City Campbell.
Just a straight up wipe on everything. So I'm just excited to see what this team looks like. I love DeAndre Swift, great rookie year.
Hey, dude, AD last year too, bro. Yeah. Kind of proof, like, yo, I'm not fucking done. He's like 35, 36, bro. He's still out there running up yards. And I mean, I don't want to sit here and just defend Jared Goff all day, but I think people get real disrespectful when they talk about Jared Goff, dude. He's a solid quarterback. To which I think, put them in a situation like Detroit where, you're not in that LA market. They're not going to be – you can make some more mistakes and not as many eyes will probably see it. So I think he'll have a little bit of pressure off his back because I think going into the season, the expectation will be a lot lower. So Jared Goff will be able to just kind of go out there and ball. I think the Lions – I think just obviously from a point there, obviously they're going to lose Kenny Galladay and I think they have the 7th or 8th pick in the draft. So I really don't know where they go at this point. They need a lot of help in some places. They obviously now are probably going to need some wide receiver help. And obviously they have a bunch of pieces missing on the defense. They just let go of Jared David, who actually signed with the Jets, which I think is a sneaky good pickup, a former first-round pick like 3 years ago. I think he was picked like 16 or 17, who just kind of never really fit into that system. And obviously Robert Salah saw something in him, brought him on over to the Jets. But I don't know. The Lions are a weird one for me because in a way I don't expect them to be very good. But I expect like a 6-10, 7-9. I don't think they're going to absolutely stink. I think they got players. I think depending on what kind of culture Dan Campbell can build around there. And at the end of the day, I'm going to put a lot of props on Jared Goff. I really think that dude's going to be able to go out and put up some numbers. I think they're straight at the running back position. Like I said, I keep saying with every single team need a little help on the line. But I think the big eyesore right now is they're going to have to go out and get a couple pieces. Marvin Jones is entering his late stages of his career. Danny Amendola is middle 30s. Like they definitely need some help at that wide receiver. So they probably lose if they 100% lose Kenny Galladay. They're probably going to go ahead and look to make a pick with that. I could also see them being a team in that Devonta Smith, Jalen Waddle sort of running because I think they're in a position to go ahead and make that play. I think at 7 or 6 or 7, something like that. But I think they're actually 6. But they got the kid last year, the 6th pick, the cornerback there from Ohio State. I forgot his name, but he's a really solid guy. Other than that, they definitely they need some help. But I'll give them credit, man. I think they can honestly have a better record than the Vikings. I think they can have a better record than the Bears. But I don't know. I think Jared Goff, man, I think people sleeping on him.
I think that division will be very competitive this year for sure. All those teams are kind of just on the same level, so I'm hyped to see that. So let's move it on. Raiders signed the boy Kenyon Drake. And then on the other side of that, Cardinals went ahead and signed A.J. Green and the kicker legend, Matt Prater, on him, dude.
Let me tell you something. This, for me, what the Cardinals are doing, I think – my biggest concern with the Cardinals last year was obviously the offense was electric, and I think they had a really good football team, just really, really young, just super young.
Yeah, I agree. All around.
Chandler Jones on the defense. I mean, a lot of these guys are 26 and under. So to bring in a J.J. Watt, who obviously is J.J. Watt, To say whether or not he's declining, sure. But I mean, same with AJ Green. Obviously, last year,
both of those dudes are just leaders.
Yeah, I mean, AJ Green, I mean, listen, that's dependent on, I don't know if that means Larry Fitz isn't coming back. It would hate to see him not return. One of the greatest to ever do it at that position. But
I don't think he'll go anywhere. If he returns, it's going to be retire for sure.
Yeah, for sure. But to bring in a guy like AJ Green, I think is going to be great. Just a veteran guy, locker room guy, leader, somebody, just a weapon for Kyler Murray, to where I'm not going to go ahead and be real dramatic here, but I think the Cardinals are in that same boat, brother, where it's like, man, if I'm Arizona's GM, I only got about 1 year left. I'm looking at Kyler.
For real. Everything's around you. Everything's put in place. You got to perform. I 100% agree with you.
I'm not saying he didn't last year. Definitely they slowed down way hard towards the back half of the year, and I don't think Kyler Murray can't get it done, but we're just in this league now, man, where your quarterback, just because all these guys are coming out and being great, you really only got about 2-3 years to prove what you got, or they're going to go ahead and look to move on. I mean, the Arizona Cardinals did this when they literally drafted Josh Rosen in the top 10, and the next year just said, no, we're going to go ahead and get Kyler Murray, and just moved right off of him. I think Kyler Murray is obviously a better player. But, if I'm the GM, it's like, man, I think I can only do about 1 more year of this experiment. I think we got a really good roster around us to, I don't see a Super Bowl happening, no, but, they could be right there.
They got that type of talent. It's just a matter of if they can execute to that level, for sure. We talk about on paper teams all the time. Cardinals are one of them. You look at them, that roster on paper, I mean, they're elite.
Well, the reason I give them more credit now is because bringing in J.J. Watt, bringing in A.J. Green,
that's what I'm saying.
Looking at this team, they would have kept Pat Pete because he's around that same boat. Just an older veteran who's great, would have been a great locker room guy. But bringing in A.J. Green, I think it's going to be wet for them, dude.
I 100% agree, dude. I'm hyped to see that. And the last move we got here for you boys, Washington football team went ahead and signed Ryan Fitzpatrick, dude. What is your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what they do. I don't know what they do because they obviously re-signed Taylor Heineke for a couple of years, hooked the boy up with $8-9 million, which, I don't think Taylor Heineke, in all honesty, is no long-term option.
I think he has potential to be the long-term option, and I think they went this route with Fitzpatrick just to try to coach him up to that. I mean, obviously they got their quarterback coach, but having another guy next to you who's just in your ear the whole time, on the bench with you, in practice with you, talks to you out of practice, I really think it's going to make him a better player. I mean, Fitz pretty much like homebred Tua, and, Tua didn't have an incredible rookie season. He really didn't. And, we'll see if he gets better. We'll see if he can do the same thing for Taylor Heineke over here. I mean, Fitzpatrick, this is just what he does, man.
Yeah, it's just what he does. I thought this would be the year where I thought would have preferred the comfortability and probably just wanted to chill out in Miami and take a deal and just do the same thing he did last year. But he's on the move again, which makes me think maybe there's a sign where he does see some playing time on the field for sure. The fact
in Washington, oh yeah.
Time. Ron Rivera probably saw something in him. And like I said, if the ultimate plan is I still think they bring in at least one more guy. I still think they have Kyle Allen, who's going to return from injury.
You're right.
I know Ron Rivera is a huge fan of Kyle Allen. That's why they brought him over from the Panthers. But, Fitzpatrick, this is just what he does. I mean, we're at a point where this is just his forte. This is his what is it, MOB? I don't think that's right at all, but
I know what you're saying. I think it is that, but
yeah, this is just his thing. I think Washington's going to be a sneaky good team next year. Obviously they were last year, snuck themselves in the playoffs, had a pretty competitive game against Tampa Bay, but what does that look for?
Fucking trash, bro. What are we talking about?
I think they win that division.
Yeah, but that doesn't make them any better. Like, they're all trash.
Nah, I mean,
it's rough. That's rough, man. I don't think Washington goes positive.
I think at least 8-8.
Nah, they can under 500, bro.
They can get at least 6 wins in that division. I don't think one of those teams. Maybe the Cowboys, if that comes back, and actually no, because I think the Cowboys, if that comes back and has his year, I think the Cowboys get it figured out. But I mean,
every team in that division has gotten better besides the Eagles at this point. So
yeah, Eagles been real quiet, brother. They got some shit they got to figure out.
They're waiting for the draft, bro. They said fuck free agents,
bro. They're gonna draft a fucking quarterback.
Look up the video, bro. I told you.
They're gonna
How
draft.
many weeks ago? I know it's coming. I'm praying
Need
for
to
it
draft
not to happen.
dude. I'm telling you, that's the biggest.
Not a quarterback. I'll be happy. Anyone.
They're gonna get fucking Justin Fields or something. Trey Lance.
Zach Wilson.
Yeah, I don't know. Depending on what the Jets do. If the Jets get a quarterback, they're going Zach Wilson. But yeah, I don't know, bro. Eagles about to be trash. Hey, big shout out to, I want to say real quick, former boy there, Carson Wentz, rocking the deuce with the Colts. That'll be fat. Colts should be fine next year. I know another quick little one is the man, running back there from Green Bay. What's his name? Macho Man. Had himself a little re-sign deal. Aaron
Jones
got himself a contract extension to where, especially at the running back position, man, that's like, you need your money. I can't be mad.
But especially in Green Bay too. Yeah, they're just known to cycle guys through there. They don't need a good running back. They got Aaron Rodgers. So
they got Aaron Rodgers. So to secure Aaron Jones for the next 3-4 years, I think it's big for Aaron Jones, big for the Packers. That dude is a dual threat at that running back position.
They picked him over Jamal Williams. I think that was the right move.
Oh, 100%. But yeah, I mean, listen, a lot of moves going on in this free agency. Still a lot more to be had. Obviously, the draft coming up. But yeah, man, it's been fun. It's my favorite time of the year. Maybe by the end of the free agency before the draft, we'll do like a winners and losers of the free agency, kind of break that down a little bit. But we got anything else for the boys and the girls?
That's about it, man. Shout out Carson Wentz, dude. I hope you do your thing over there. Quick shout out Michael Pittman Jr. who said you can't have my fucking number. That's funny. But yeah, I don't know. Shout out, dude. NFL offseason's arguably as good as the season, dude. This is awesome.
As good for sure. But that being said, the meat pack, fuck out of here.
Perfect.